Welcome to my tutorial on changing or converting between fractions and decimals and vice versa. Let's have a look first of all at changing to a decimal from a fraction. So we've got an example here, example 1, 3/10. Now as long as your fraction has a denominator of 10, 100, 1000, then this is fairly straightforward. Because basically 3/10 just means 3 divided by 10. So if we look at how we do this, if I write 3.0 divided by 10, if I'm dividing by 10, what's happening is I'm moving the digits one place to the right. So if I move the 3 over to there and the 0 along one, I'm going to get 0.3 as my answer. So 3/10, 0.3. The second one, this time, is the same as doing 7 divided by 100. So if I write 7.0 divided by 100, this time I'm moving my digits 2 places to the right. So the 7's not going to go to there, it's going to move one more along. So I'd have to fill this in with a 0. I'd have 0.07 as my answer. 7 divided by 100, 0.07. Example 3, well 5/20, that's not got 10 on the bottom or 100 on the bottom or 1000 on the bottom. So in order to convert that, we need to make it out of either 10 or 100. Well, we can't make it out of 10 because if I divide both of these by 2, I'm going to get 2.5 on the top. I want to try and keep this as whole integers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this 20 into 100 by timesing it by 5. Now to keep this fraction equivalent, if I times the bottom, the denominator, by 5, I must multiply the numerator by 5 as well. So I get 25 over 100, and using the method I had above on this one, that's going to give us 0.25. The last one here, 1/8. Well, the best way to think about this is an eighth is actually a half of a quarter. So we know that a quarter is 0.25 because 25 over 100 is the same as a quarter, 5/20 is the same as a quarter. So a quarter is 0.25. An eighth is half of that. So what we need to do, and the best way I'm going to do this to show you, is I'm going to times this by 100 to give me 25. I'm then going to find half of 25, and then I'm going to divide it by 100 to get back to where I started with. So half of 25 is 12.5. If I then divide this by 100, because I've times it by 100 at the start, I move my digits 2 places to the left. I'm now going to move them back 2 places to the right, so my answer becomes 0.125. Okay, the second part then, changing to a fraction from a decimal. Example 1 then, we've got 0.4. Now 0.4, because it's got one decimal place, all we do is we write 4/10. We then have to simplify that, 2 goes into 4 and 10, and it becomes 2/5. 0.4 is a fraction, 2/5 in its lowest terms. 0.33. Now this time we've got 2 decimal places. So we don't write it over 10 anymore, we write 33, but this time because there's 2 decimal places, we write that over 100. That can't be simplified. 11 goes into 33 but not 100, 3 does but not 100. There's no common factors for those two, so our answer is 33 over 100. The last one here, 0.375, we now no longer write it over 10 or 100 because we've got 3 decimal places, we write it over 1000. And then we need to simplify that. Well, I can see that 5 goes into both of those, 25 goes into both of those as well. So let's start with 25. 25 into 300 goes, well 25 into 100 is 4, so into 300 is 12, but I've got another 3, so that becomes 15. And 25 into 1,000, well 25 into 100 goes 4, so 25 into 1,000 must go 40 times. So I get to 15 over 40. I could then see that 5 will go into 15 and 40, so I can simplify this again. So 5 into 15 goes 3 times, and 5 into 40 goes 8 times. So my answer in its lowest terms is 3/8.